Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Forestlake Morning Show. I am Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
And we're going to jump right into things today. Get right to it. This week, we have Miley Cyrus, still at number 1. 6 weeks straight, it's been on the chart with her song Flowers. Followed by Kill Bill, SZA, still at number 2, No Change. Boys, all right, we're going to talk about this for a quick sec. It's called Boys a Liar Part 2 by Pink Panthers. It's up 1 from 4 to 3. Boy's a liar, but it's actually Boy's a leer because that's what she calls it in the song. Now, one of us in this room particularly hates the song.
Interesting.
The other one particularly thinks it's okay. So there's a bit of dichotomy with the song. And actually, we will say that we would love to hear your thoughts on it. Brendan, mind sharing what you think of the song?
Man, we're just diving right in. It's not great.
That's not what you said.
It's not great.
That's not what you said.
Not my favorite song.
That is so that you're putting it so nicely, Brendan.
You have to put it nicely. It's so this song it's a TikTok trend song, and like there's no real trend behind it. It's just like I don't know how to explain it. Like
from what we saw, we looked up trends on YouTube, like those compilation videos, because we don't have TikTok, so. It didn't make sense. One, the song was sped up like most songs are. It's sped up from the original, which is already very fast. It's like I told Brendan that the song is like, if you haven't heard it, it's a lo-fi beat that's on like speed.
Yeah, kind of. Like it's not great production, not great mix, like on the mix end, but it's almost like they want it that way.
Yeah.
But why?
And the upbeat nature is very fast and upbeat. I think that's why it's getting people, and it's so quirky. Yeah. It's so quirky it works.
Right.
Which is so ridiculous.
That's the thing I don't like about it, I think.
Yeah.
Like with going with that, like it fits. But I don't know.
Please let us know your thoughts. Because we obviously are split about it, and I think it's good. I mean, if you're trying to write that kind of song, that's exactly what you want out of it. Okay, so
interesting.
Moving on. We have Creep and Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, 21 Savage. This thing is not leaving the charts.
No.
This thing has been on the charts for how long now?
Probably like 2 months.
I shouldn't have even asked.
Like a while.
It tells me right here. 12 weeks on the chart. Okay.
Oh.
Peak position, number 3. It's at number 4. Last Night by Morgan Wallen is steady at number 5. Die For You, The Weeknd is up from 7 to 6. Unholy, Sam Smith and Kim Petras is down from 6 to 7. Anti-Hero is steady at 8. That's by Taylor Swift. Cuff It by Beyonce is steady at number 9. And last but not least on the top 10 Hot 100, I'm Good by David.
Get it.
And Baby Rexha is steady at number 10.
Say Baby Rexha?
Did I say Baby Rexha?
Sounded like it.
B-E-B-E.
Baby.
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 Baby. Baby Rexha.
Yeah. So actually, like Flowers... I guess Miley got so much support for it. I mean, obviously, it's been number 1 for how long now? But she's going to release the demo version of it, which is cool. Version. I think when an artist releases like the demo of it, like not the finished song, like kind of in the process of like when they were writing it, when they release that, I think that's so cool.
Have you ever heard a demo that's better than the actually released version by an artist you like? So I listen to this artist, Modest Yahoo, and he's actually one of my favorite artists. Probably me. It's a whole other story about how much he means to me, and especially during like the teenage years when you're figuring out who you are. There was at one point he was coming out with a new album, and he released like a sneak peek demo of it, of this one song, and I was it was so good.
You liked it better,
so good.
So then you heard the demo first,
yeah.
And
then when the album came out, the same name song, totally different.
See, in production, we call that demoitis. It's really? when you hear the demo and you get so gung-ho about it that when you hear the actual master, you're like, I don't like that. I want it more like the demo. It's called demoitis.
Have we had that as a band in Forestlake?
I know, I've had it a whole bunch.
You've had it when you were in Nashville producing?
Because there's something about like the demo, it's like very raw, very natural.
Yeah.
Like you're just figuring out that idea of the song. You're like, oh, I like that. I like that feeling of knowing like, oh, this is where the song could go. And then when it gets there and it's fully produced, mixed, mastered and everything, you're like, I kind of miss like those terrible vocal sounds, that little click in the guitar there. Like all of that it kind of goes out the window.
So for any of our musician friends, artists out there that do write, they do produce or songwrite, let us know if you know what demoitis is. Let us know your thoughts about it, how you cope with it. or if you just deal with it and keep moving on with whatever. If you rewrite it, or if you just go with what you've already worked on. Okay, let's jump into some news this week. We got to tell the people what's going on.
The Glastonbury Music Festival in Somerset, England, just announced their lineup. So this will be June 21st through June 25th. And I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago where you could buy tickets for it, but they didn't announce the lineup. And so you were kind of buying blindly. So they finally just announced the lineup, and it's stacked.
Is it?
It's loaded.
Do we have Coldplay in the lineup?
No Coldplay.
I'm not going.
No Coldplay. But we do have Elton John, Guns N' Roses, the Arctic Monkeys. They were incredible, by the way. I saw them once. So good.
I've heard good
Highly
things.
recommend it. Lizzo, Carly Rae Jepsen, Maneskin.
Wow.
We've talked a lot about. And The War on Drugs, just to name a few. The War on Drugs, if you haven't heard them, go check them out. They're really cool. They're very unique. Mm-hmm. I think they have like super long songs, but they're great. They're really cool. And at the very bottom of the lineup is a little band called Forestlake.
No, hopefully one day. Dude, you know what was funny? I was really shocked. I was like, oh, cool. He's about to go into like the local bands or the unknown bands of the lineup, like the ones that are on the bottom of the bill.
No, there were too many.
Oh, yeah.
But those are kind of like the headliners. I think Arctic Monkeys, they're like number one. So they are like the headliners of the whole fest.
Over Elton John?
Over Elton John and Guns N' Roses.
I mean, I could see Guns N' Roses.
I mean, unless that's... I don't think it would be alphabetical, but...
Yeah, maybe it's just scheduled. We'll say it might be a scheduling thing. It is. Glastonbury is a 3-day fest?
It's 4 days? 5 days.
Glastonbury is one that's on the list. Like, I feel like I got to go there.
Yeah.
As a musician.
Isn't that where Coldplay...
Coldplay...
They started off?
They played there a number of times. There is a very good video on YouTube of Coldplay at Glastonbury playing an early set. There's a whole story behind it. I think they only had 15 minutes, and they were playing... Maybe if I can find the video, I'll link it.
Is this the video where it backs up like 4 years? And if you ever watch the Coldplay documentary, it shows Chris Martin, like when they first started out in like 1998 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying, hey, we're the Coldplay, you know, give us 4 years and we're going to be huge. We're going to be massive. And like exactly 4 years later, they were headlining Glastonbury.
Yeah. It's chilling. And there's a clip of it that goes around on social media. My sister sent it to me, and she's like, Tyler, this gives me chills every time. Yeah. I said, Tori, I know. I said they deserve everything they've gotten and more.
Yeah.
And if Coldplay's not in the festival, I'm not going. They're not getting my money from me. I pay to go see Coldplay, especially at a place like Glastonbury.
You're crazy.
That's a hot take.
It's a wrong take.
Maybe a little crazy. No, but I am shocked that Elton John, I would think that Elton John would be headlining that. But regardless, that is an interesting lineup. And... oh man, it's just it's Glastonbury. I don't know what it is, something about it. Speaking of other festivals, we'll get to one later. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I will say, bringing in some new news, we have The Weeknd coming in with the first person to have over 100 million Spotify monthly listeners for the first time ever. Now,
wow.
When I read this, I was like, kind of taken aback by the fact that we use Spotify now as a standard for success or breaking records. And I don't know where you would really draw the line any other way, because it is such a major platform that people use up there with really the only other competition it has is Apple Music. At least here in, you know, the global United States or the United States, because globally I think other services work. Moving forward, this is the first person to surpass 100 million streams. And if we go down the list, we actually have some power among the female artists, where we have Miley Cyrus, the next person with the most monthly listeners. Miley Cyrus comes in with 82 million, followed by Taylor Swift with 80 million.
Wow.
And then we have Rihanna.
This is monthly?
Yes. Monthly listeners. And then Rihanna comes in at number 4 with 79 million. Now, The Weeknd, obviously, we've talked about it last week. He's had that remix that has really skyrocketed probably a lot of these streams, not downplaying the fact that he's super talented. But he's also been putting in work. In 10 years, he's released 5 studio albums.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We've talked about
that's a solid time frame, too. Like 2 years for an album.
2 years an album on average. Yeah, it's really good. Coldplay does, on average, 4.
Yeah.
An album every 4 years. So putting out an album in 2 years, it's a lot of work. because then you factor in, well, he's probably touring, he's doing shows, he's going to awards.
Sure.
He has a life. I mean, the dude's working. So he deserves success. And if you value Spotify's success as a measure of success, then you can enjoy that little record break this week. Happened earlier this week on Monday, February 27th. The news came out.
No, that's interesting. That kind of also ties into my next topic here, which is Universal Music Group. They have generated over $1 billion on average per quarter in 2022. $1 billion on average per quarter.
That's on average. Do you have any other information on that? Because I have something to add to it.
Yeah, so that mainly comes from music subscription streaming.
Okay.
So like your Spotify, like your Apple Music, and they were even mentioning like some of the top artists that helped generate this and like really pushed it included Taylor Swift. You know, you're talking like female artists, Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, BTS, Morgan Wallen, even the Beatles. The Beatles are still thriving.
Beatles are never going to not
thrive.
They're
still pushing out. They're still generating millions of dollars. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you got any stake in the Beatles, you're good.
Yeah.
Beatle pandemonium is crazy.
The Beatleites, Beetleheads, what do they call them?
My uncle's a Beetlehead.
Yeah.
If that's what they call them.
The Beetlehead, sure.
I would think they would just call Beatle fans Beatles.
Beatles.
Right?
Wouldn't it make sense?
Yeah. But then I guess it would take away from the band being called the Beatles. And now we're going to start saying that word too much. We're not going to understand what it says because I've said it. We've heard that. We've only just said it, 4 or 5 times, and it's
Beatles
already sounding so weird.
Like when you say a word too many times and you don't understand it.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
It's weird. I think the first time I did it was with like a vacuum. And I just said vacuum over and over again, and I lost my mind. I didn't know what it was.
It messes with your head for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. So, I thought I was reading somewhere that that's on average $1 billion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to. Oh, okay. So they probably have had over $1 billion at some point, whether it's quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, or quarter 4, because that's the way it breaks down. But I saw that for the first time ever for Universal in a quarter 4, that measure, they made over $1 billion.
Oh, definitely. So this was over $1 billion just in music streaming.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and that's an average.
That's not including merch, all that other stuff.
Right.
None of that.
Yeah. So all that other stuff was the first time in a quarter 4 they've reached a monumental amount of money.
Yeah. So if you want to know where all the music or all the money is in the music industry, it's going to labels.
Yeah, it's going to the labels.
It's all going to labels.
And like we've talked about, artists, they don't make money from their contracts. They make money from touring or merchandise and stuff, which we also talked about is a whole other thing where, it's not, touring is a whole different thing nowadays. Yeah. That's an older episode. Go find it if you want. In other news, we have some new music dropping. You've already mentioned a few. New Music Friday, obviously March 3rd. We had some new releases. Macklemore's back with an album called Ben. Macklemore hasn't really been... I shouldn't say this like I am some Rolling Stone critic. Macklemore hasn't reached the success of his album The Heist back in 2014, I believe, when Thrift Shop was out. No, Thrift Shop actually probably came before, but he really hit some success with the album The Heist. But he has an album out called Ben, and he's starting a tour this year. And I love Macklemore's personality when I see it on social media or just, I think he's a really good person. So wanted to include him in this list. There's only 3 people I'm mentioning, so it's kind of just like our quick rapid fire of new releases to check out. There are many more. Also, we have Morgan Wallen. His full 36-song album dropped on Friday. And not only did it just get released, but it also broke a record.
What record?
He is the first male artist on Spotify, again, to... in under 24 hours have the most streams for a country artist, for a male country artist. I would assume Taylor Swift holds the female artist record.
Yeah,
I did not look it up.
Yeah.
Under 24 hours.
That's pretty good.
Wallen.
That's real good. Country, like, I feel like everyone kind of likes country. Like, you can't really hate it. You can hate it in a way that it becomes stereotypical.
Yeah.
But at the same time, listening to country, it's like, it just gets you in a good mood, like a chill, like party kind of mood. Like everyone's just having a good time. Like you ever go to a country concert? Everyone there is so chill. They're so nice. They're just having a good time. They're drinking, they're laughing, enjoying the concert.
There is something different about it.
But you go to like a metal concert or a rock concert, they're hardcore.
Have you been to a Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It fittingly so.
Bunch, but
have you been to a country concert?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one?
Festivals, a whole bunch of separate artists. Yeah.
Did I forget that he was living in the city of Nashville for a long time?
The city of country.
I didn't know if there was one that stood out in particular, because for me, I haven't.
You've never been to a country concert?
No, I don't think so. I know, obviously, to our viewers that are over there in Cleveland, Ohio, Berea holds, what's that venue where all the country artists go? Blossom Music Fest. I think it's in Berea.
Oh, I don't know.
It's down that way in Ohio. Well, Blossom Music Fest is a very popular place for country artists to come through and people to just go do exactly what you said. It's, they have that huge open yard if you're not under the pavilion, and you can park and drink and just have a great time. And it seems like that community, well, I shouldn't say it's like a community, but the people that go to those events, it's just a good time. It's a feel good thing. It's like when you go down to Outback Steakhouse and you got it playing on in the speakers. You feel
we were listening to some of the Morgan Wallen songs earlier,
which are good.
This guy's like, man, this music makes me want a steak. What did you say?
It makes me feel like I'm at a steakhouse. It does.
Like what?
All right, we're gonna have to put a poll on the social media. Do you listen to country music and also simultaneously feel like you're sitting down at Texas Roadhouse?
Okay. All I'm saying is I appreciate and promote the culture of country music and the environment for country concerts.
And I'm not saying anything otherwise. I agree.
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen also did just write a check for $35,000 to his alma mater high school. He surprised on Thursday, I think. He showed up and surprised the kids at the school with a surprise concert.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then did he
play all 36 songs or what?
No, I don't. I think he only played like 5 or 6, and then there was like some other event made out of it. But I was reading that it was only for the senior class, and I was like, damn, imagine if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, and you love country. It's obviously he's from Tennessee, so you probably like Morgan Wallen because he went to your high school, and you don't get to go to a concert.
Suck. Like you're stuck in like social studies, and you just hear like a concert, like a muffled concert.
Yeah, happening right outside. Yeah, it happened out on the baseball field. So
you're like taking a test.
You're like, is that Morgan Wallen? Like somebody's phone going off? Yeah. And then it's actually Morgan Wallen.
Oh, that would suck.
Unannounced surprise visit at your high school outside in the baseball stadium. Yeah. Only the seniors could go.
Man,
I'd be pissed if it was like, imagine if Coldplay did that. I mean, I'd be like, are you serious? I'm leaving right now.
Yeah.
But shout out to Morgan Wallen. Awesome guy. Seems very genuine as well. And his new album's out. Go check it out. Let us know what you think of every single track, all 36 songs. And then to cap this off, we have Kali Uchis. I think I'm saying that right.
Kali Uchis?
Kali Uchis is how you say it. Red Moon and Venus. This is like an R&B soul Latin, because she had that song Telepatia, which we talked about.
Oh, the same artist.
That's
a cool name. Red Moon and Venus.
It is cool.
That's a cool name.
And she has a new album out that came out this week. So we will be blatantly clear that we did not listen to this whole album. So we're not going to say too much about it. But the one song we did start listening to, we still have to listen to it. So we're not giving a review other than this one song. And it was fucking good. At least to me. I was like, wow, there's like so much it was feel. There was a lot of feeling in it.
Yeah.
And I thought you said some commentary about it as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
We'll do like a breakdown next week.
Yeah, we'll break down reviews of it for sure.
For all you Kiss fans out there, you Kiss heads,
keep it simple.
There's Kiss Army. I think it's called the Kiss Army.
Is it?
It's like I think that's what they branded it as. But Kiss just announced their absolute last tour ever. They're calling it the End of the Road Tour. Tickets go on sale tomorrow. And they're not playing a lot of shows, which is understandable because they're all very old. Mm-hmm. But I think they're playing around 20 shows, like 19, 20 shows, something like that. All happening primarily in November of this year. About half the shows will be in Canada, half in the U.S. I think they're a Canadian band, so that would make sense. But yeah, I think they're playing like one show in October, most of the shows in November, and then they're finishing off with 2 shows, Madison Square Garden, in December, 1st and 2nd.
Would you go to a Kiss show?
Kiss was one of my first concerts, actually.
You've already seen them?
Yeah.
Back when?
They were one of my first shows at Blossom. Actually. Okay. Yeah.
Was this like when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, I think it was like middle school or high school, early high school. I think it was middle school.
Rock and roll was it?
Oh, it's.
Was it a good time?
I mean, it's classic. You know, like Kiss is great. Kiss, they tend to repeat in their songs quite a bit. You know, I want to rock and roll all night.
It's a great song.
They say that probably 60 times in that song. It's great though. But yeah, great concert. Older crowd.
I would go. So I'm doubting that they're going to come to Tampa. But if they do come near, if they go to Cleveland, I will go see a Kiss show because I've never seen Kiss, and I feel like that's a legendary rock and roll band. Yeah, obviously very theatrical with their get up and
so they released a promo ad with the picture of them, and I'm like, man, they still look pretty good. Oh, it's the makeup. You know, like that's one way to hide all the wrinkles. It's just
that whole
the whole get up.
It is cool though, like that's I wonder like the origin of where and why that was created. I'm sure there's a whole story. I know my mom watches those rock and roll documentaries on TV where they like do the history deep dives, and they're actually really good. It's like on VHS. Not on VHS, but it's like the channel VHS, I think.
Right.
I know there's some history in Kiss.
Probably on VHS too.
Yeah. Actually, for Kiss, it might also be on VHS.
Yeah.
There is some serious history, and maybe we can do. I know we always talk about bonus episodes, but one might be to do one on Kiss. I know there's some fascinating stuff, as there would be with a famous rock and roll band.
Well, you think like it's kind of genius, the whole get up and the makeup and everything. Like their music was good, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like
it wasn't. Yeah.
And when they were coming up in that big heavy metal or like hair metal, I guess, era of like the 80s and 90s, there were so many bands, and they all looked alike. You know, they all had like the long hair, long curly hair, and they just dressed like rock stars, and that's what you did. But they stood out with the makeup, with the whole get up. You're like, oh my god, I just saw a band last week and all the dudes were dressed up. Like, that's cool.
They created a brand that is going to sell forever.
Well, you go to a show and you're not just listening to the music. Now it's a whole like theatrics to it. Yeah.
And that's the coolness of it. But also like you think of Kiss, like just, you can market that in clothing and merch and probably items up there with the Beatles and Rolling Stone. Like those, they stand out among the others. Like you mentioned, all the other rock bands that were just doing the normal rock band look. They now stand above them and have marketability how many decades later still,
Genius.
I'm not even really a big Kiss fan, but I respect them as a classic rock and roll band, and I want to pay to go see their show now, especially because it's the end of the road tour.
The first Les Paul I got was kind of like an Ace Frehley Les Paul. It had the big red sunburst on it.
Did it really?
The 60s sunburst, yeah. Shout out Ace Frehley.
I always remember my bass instructor giving a lot of props to Gene Simmons for being like an actually good bass player. Like even though those parts aren't terrible, they're like really good parts.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we are gonna close out this episode touching on another festival, South by Southwest, one of the hugest festivals up there in the United States, is going to be happening next week, March 10th through March 18th. There's 1,400 bands playing.
What?
Yeah. Mind you, it is an 8-day festival. The thing about South by Southwest, I just wanted to mention it. I wanted to remind people, hey, it's happening. Keep up to date with it on social media or wherever else you may be, whether it's actually in Austin, Texas at the festival. It's not just a music festival as I thought. It's music. There's a music festival, a comedy festival, film and TV festival. There's conferences, exhibitions, awards.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. I've never heard of this.
South by Southwest?
Yeah.
You've never heard about South by Southwest?
No, you're telling me this is the biggest fest.
Oh my God. Dude, how are you? Who let you in the band? No, I'm just kidding.
1,400 bands, 8 days.
South by Southwest is held in Austin, Texas. I don't know the history of it. We can maybe look into it, but it is a very well-known festival. I think it's well-known, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's known for like up-and-coming artists to get a chance to play live for the first time. Billie Eilish being one of them. Before Billie Eilish was the Billie Eilish that we love and adore. No, she played one of her first shows at South by Southwest.
Is it like a specific genre, or it's kind of just everything?
I think it's anything. South by Southwest is so huge. These conferences are in any industry. They have conferences for the music, sports, film and TV. I mean, it's literally beyond just what you would think of as a music festival. It's not a music festival. It's South by Southwest.
When is this happening?
Happens next week, March 10th to March 18th.
Trying to go to Austin?
I would love to go, dude. I don't know how much tickets are and how much it breaks down, but
sounds like a city. Like you're just going to explore the shanty town.
Yeah. Right? There's so much going on. It's like, how do you even have time? If you've been there, please let us know how awesome it is, or otherwise, if you have like the insider scoop of South by Southwest from the insides, and whether it may or may not live up to the hype, we would love to know.
I'm curious now. I'm going to have to look that up.
So we're just letting you guys know it is happening. Keep tabs on it. There's a lot of new artists starting there. Not Petros, the artist that we talked about with that song earlier today, Pink Pantheress.
Oh.
For that song, Boys a Liar Part 2. Pink, Kim, same difference. She will be playing her show there. She's a British songwriter, by the way. It doesn't sound like it in her songs, but she's one of the 1,400 bands that will be getting some spotlight there. So check it out, if you will. I think that wraps it up for what we have as far as what's going on in the industry this week.
That's all we got, mate.
That's all we got for you. We are going to just keep it at that. We're going to close out and see you all next week on another beautiful episode of the Forestlake Morning Show.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
Peace out.
See you.